Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of This Week in the Bay. Today, we've got a lot of football talk for you for obvious reasons. I mean, we've got week 1 of NFL, week 2 of the NCAA for football. We've got baseball and basketball too, don't worry. And then, we're going to talk about what we want to see. We're going to do the state of a few teams, and, that's the show. Well, thank you for tuning in today. We are going to jump right into our one big topic, and it is the week 1 of the NFL. Tomorrow will be when it really gets underway, but we also had a Thursday night game, and so we're just going to talk about week 1. Drew, anything particularly that you want to talk about first before we get into specific games?
Well, not really, just my dad had Julio Jones in fantasy, and so he's going to win.
Yes, Julio Jones had a solid week despite not catching any touchdowns. So, speaking of Julio Jones, we saw the Eagles and the Falcons play in the first game of the season. That took place on Thursday. Nick Foles was the starting quarterback, but he did make one catch as the Eagles decided to run the Philly special one more time, just for the Patriots fans. And so yeah, what do you think about that game, Drew? It was a pretty low scoring game, especially the first half. It wasn't anything crazy that happened, but yeah, Matt Ryan had a tough night, I thought. I don't know. I just want to know any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this game actually. So I have this really annoying kid at my school, and he's an Eagles fan. So I've been rooting against the Eagles for, forever.
Okay, Drew, what if he listens to this podcast?
Then we get one more view. Also, we don't know how many annoying Eagles fans I know, so we don't know which one I'm talking about.
All right.
So, basically, I've been rooting for the Eagles to lose for so long because of this. And now that the Eagles started winning, I don't know what to think. Because, Jay Ajayi, I like Jay Ajayi. In 2017 SBCLA NFL Day, you can watch that episode. I said Jay Ajayi was a sleeper. He went for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns yesterday.
That's a nice game. That's really nice.
So, I'm just saying, you don't have to listen to me, but you should.
Is that so?
Mm-hmm. So that's all I gotta say about that.
So you don't really like the Eagles because somebody at your school roots for the Eagles, right?
And he's annoying.
Okay. But you do like Jay Ajayi. That's what you're saying?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's an interesting thought there. My take on this game is that it's the beginning. Teams are a little rusty. A lot of people did not actually play in the preseason, so it was a rough game for passing the football. The quarterbacks didn't play great. It wasn't a single passing touchdown. But, the running backs, you saw, like Drew said, Jay Ajayi had a very good game. Corey Clement, another guy who had a good game. You saw running backs do okay. Quarterbacks and wide receivers struggled. Hopefully tomorrow we can get some more action scoring-wise. But I guess let's jump into the main...
Wait. Actually, there's one more thing I want to say. Matt Bryant, you suck. Make your extra points. I don't care if it's week 1. You still get practice in preseason. You should not be missing extra points unless they get blocked.
Alabama's kicker also missed 2 of their first 3 extra points today.
Yeah, that's just sad. But of all the 5-star recruits that Alabama gets, I'm not going to...
Roast the kicker?
Yeah, I'm not going to...
Didn't the kicker also miss a... Yeah, the kicker was really horrible in the last game, in the championship game last year, too.
Same kicker?
I don't know if it's the same kicker, but I know their kicker sucked. And then he missed 3 field goals. I'm pretty sure he missed 3 field goals and they were 40-yarders. Not even.
Hey, for the record, shout out to Alabama. Look at your rivals. Their kicker got drafted. I got Daniel Carlson on my fantasy team. He's about to get 11 points for me. Dab on the haters. So,
Okay.
Alabama, get yourself a kicker.
All right.
But not as much as the NFL team. Please, just make your extra point.
All right. So Drew thinks that kickers should make their extra points. I have to say that does make sense. That probably is part of the job description. That's like basketball players shooting 40% from the free throw line sort of thing. Except for like it's even more part of their job description to make.
Hey, at least
points.
Shaquille O'Neal, and not Matt Bryant.
Well, yes, that is true. So we're gonna move on. Sunday games. I guess, is there any particular game that you're really excited for on Sunday?
Yes.
That stands out for you?
There is one game that I'm very excited to see, and it goes down in New England, I believe. I don't know where it is, but the Patriots and Texans, that game, last game, I don't know if y'all recalls, but it was a very close game. It went down to the last minutes, and the Patriots won by 1 point.
And Brandon Cook had that like crazy touchdown.
Yeah, I think it was that one. And then the next week, Deshaun Watson got injured and was out for the season.
That was a sad one.
So
You think that's gonna be a good one?
Yes. I'm really excited to see what Deshaun Watson can do. First game back is always hard, but I think that this is a game that a lot of players on that team really want to get revenge on. And this team that played last year doesn't have Brandon Cooks anymore. And because of suspension, they still don't have Edelman. So they're going to be relying a lot more on their new guys. We might see some Braxton Berrios to go with like a lot of Chris Hogan targets probably. And Gronk's going to be big for them.
Yeah, Gronk. I was going to say, what about Gronk? Gronk's getting big targets this week.
I think that there is actually an opportunity for a huge, what seems like week 1 upset, but actually I don't think is that much of an upset.
And I do have Gronk in my main fantasy league, so I'm excited about that one. Rooting for Gronk this week. Anyway, now, Drew, you like that Patriots-Texans game? I actually agree. After all those reasons, I think that should be a pretty fun game to watch. One game that I might watch is Chicago-Green Bay. I really like Aaron Rodgers. That's a Sunday night game. That seems like an interesting game to watch now with Khalil Mack on Chicago. Probably won't watch the whole thing, but I might tune in for a little bit. Anytime you can watch Aaron Rodgers play,
I'm disappointed in the
fun.
NFL.
Okay.
You had all off-season to schedule a week 1 Sunday night game, and you put the Bears in it.
That's a good point.
And they scheduled this before they had Khalil Mack.
That
you don't get that excuse.
But there aren't too many besides one that we're gonna get to later. There's not any games that really jump out to me the way that the New England one does, and the one that we're gonna get to later. But week 1 is this weekend. Hopefully, we'll have some action, some interesting events that take place. But let's move on to the Sunday game, and we're not talking about the Jets and the Lions because they're the Jets and the Lions.
Okay, so quick update. Sorry, Chris, but I just want to say Austin Jones is the scrub that went 1 for 3 on extra points today for Alabama, and then they made him leave the game and not come back because he was trash. And this Joseph Baluvas dude came in, and he went 5 for 5 on extra points and a field goal. By the way, Austin Jones, I don't remember him from last year. But
I don't think that's the same guy, but yeah. So we're going to move on to Sunday night, and we are going to get into one of our main market teams. So this is going to be the NFL section of our show after the one big topic. So we're going to talk a little more in depth. We've got Raiders and Rams, and I'm going to be honest with you. Although I will probably watch this game just because it's like sort of like I should, because we're supposed to be paying attention to the Raiders. I don't think that's going to be any good, to be honest with you.
The only reason I'm watching the game is because Jared Goff's on my fantasy team. I'm just saying. The
only reason I would give the Raiders any sort of sliver of a shot to compete with the Rams is because Jared Goff didn't play a single snap, I'm pretty sure, in the preseason. So you could see a first quarter where he throws a pick and he's really rusty.
It's the Raiders. He's not throwing a pick.
That's a good point. Even if the only way he would throw a pick is if he literally just like lobbed it up straight to a defender, which probably won't happen. So, but you could see him definitely missing a lot of passes, or he's a little bit off rhythm. But by the second quarter, definitely by the second half, he'll be in rhythm, and he'll probably put up 30 plus because the Raiders defense sucks, especially without Khalil Mack. And so I honestly don't think the Raiders can compete because the Raiders offense, it didn't get that much better. I mean, hopefully Amari Cooper doesn't drop every pass this year. And hopefully Jordan Nelson can maybe make a little difference. But I don't know. I don't really know if I believe that John Gruden is going to come in first week against the Rams defense, all the firepower that they have, is really going to do anything. So I don't know. I'm predicting like a 31 to a 13 type of game. Rams are going to win comfortably. But I probably will watch just because you got to watch your home market teams play. So, and also so I can talk about it on next week's show, but I don't know.
Oh,
is that anything different really for you on that game, or
not really? I just want to say that J.R. Smith tweeted that he can't wait to meet Khalil Mack at the Raiders game on Monday. So, yeah.
J.R. Smith will be back in Oakland where he got MVP chance in this summer. And we're going to move on to the one game.
Are we not going to recognize that Khalil Mack's not even on the Raiders anymore?
Wait a minute. Oh, that's what you were talking about. It's okay. But J.R. Smith will still be in Oakland because you know J.R. Smith. Anyway,
# he forgot.
We're going to move on. We've got Niners and we've got Vikings. This is a game I actually am excited to watch tomorrow. I think this should be a very interesting game.
This punter's trash.
You know, the Niners just signed Garoppolo to that huge deal after he played about like 6 games, 7. I think he has 7 starts in his NFL career. Not even all of them with the Niners, but you know, Garoppolo now here long term. The Niners are trying to get this rebuild underway, and the Vikings coming off of a season in which they had a lot of success, and they've got a new guy at quarterback. So, I'm actually very excited to watch this game and to see how that one goes down. But I think that this is going to be a close one between the Vikings and the Raiders. The Vikings and the Niners. I think that I'm going to predict, actually. Yeah, I'm going to predict that the Niners will end up winning this game. And I'm going to say my score prediction is 27-24. And I know that I'm giving the Niners. That's a good amount of points to put up against. I'm pretty sure they were the second best defense in the NFL last year. The Vikings were. So that's a good amount of points. I'm giving the Niners some respect. I don't think they can really keep up the amount of offense that they had at the end of last year, where they put up like 44 on the Rams, I think, 30 or 33 on the Rams and 44 on the Jaguars, or vice versa. But they put up big points against really good defenses. So I don't know if they'll be able to keep that up all year. But I think that Kyle Shanahan, he can get those boys to get hyped up for this game, and I think that they'll be able to pull it out against Kirk Cousins. And, I'm hoping they will be able to. But I think that Kyle Shanahan will pull it out. It's going to be close for sure. But, yeah, I'm excited to watch that game.
The difference between winning and losing for them, I think, is going to end up being how can the Niners' run game do. Because
without Jerick McKinnon.
Yeah, especially. No Jerick McKinnon, so you're going to be relying on Alfred Morris and Matt Breida. Hopefully just Matt Breida, because Alfred Morris, I think, is trash. But
he's decent in Madden,
that's just me.
He's decent in Madden.
That's how we judge people these days. But actually, it kind of is. But it's going to come down to how well can their run game do with Morris and Breida. And because out of the backfield, I have no doubt that Garoppolo's going to be able to throw the ball. He's got targets. He's got Garcon. He's got Marquise Goodwin. He's got Kendrick Bourne. He's got Aldrick Robinson.
Kittle and Selleck at tight end. Don't forget about them.
Victor Bolden Jr. So he's got some really good guys. And he's got Hukatini, second best name in NFL history.
Actually, I'm pretty sure Hukatini got released to.
Hukatini.
I think he's actually on the Vikings now. Or no. Is he? I'm not sure.
That would be sad.
I'm pretty sure he got released. But, yeah. So I think that the Niners and the Vikings, that'll be a good game. I'm gonna predict that the Niners are gonna win. That might just be wishful thinking, but I believe in Jimmy G to get this one for us. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up right now, though, for the NFL part of the show. And so we are going to transition onto the NBA section, and we are going to be talking about the 2019 NBA Hall of Fame class, right?
Yeah.
So I think, Drew, you said, don't you have a few that you think are going to make it next year? Or you want to
Yes, I
you want to
do.
talk about a couple of those?
So, I don't know why, like, at all, but I really like Chauncey Billups.
Hey,
And I've never watched him play, and it makes no sense, but I do. And don't argue with me. Fight me. Square up. Don't fight me, because you'll win, and that'll be sad. But I
So
like
don't
him.
argue with you because you actually have never seen him play, but you think he's going to make it.
Yeah, he sounds pretty good. I mean, he's ranked at number 2 here. Ooh.
And what? What are you
Um,
sorting by?
Nothing. It's just Hall of Fame inductees.
Hall of Fame
Yeah.
candidates?
And I think that he's a very solid player. He put up good numbers, 15 and 5. Actually, not that great, but he won a ring. He was a big part of the team that did win a ring. And I think that he will ultimately end up in the Hall of Fame because not just is he a great player, but he's also a great personality. Now, I know that really doesn't
Chauncey
matter.
Billups, according to Basketball Reference, has an 84.4% chance to make the Hall of Fame.
My
So good pick, good pick.
next man's that I think will end up in the Hall of Fame is Latrell Sprewell. And if you think that I don't know who Chauncey Billups is, you should talk about Latrell Sprewell, because I have ultimately no idea who he is.
You kind of should. He was on the Warriors. He punched PJ Carlesimo. That's like what he's most famous for, actually. But he has. That's not like as good of a pick. Your boy has just 5%, or is that 5% chance to make? Yeah, he has just a 5% chance to make it.
Well, he dropped 18 a game with 4-4. So that's pretty solid, I think. And the fact that I know him, even though it's from punching a dude, says something. Because, like, he's just this random scrub. And then the third guy that I think should make the Hall of Fame is my man's Chuck Robinson. He never in his NBA career missed a three-pointer. No, I'm just kidding. Like,
Chuck
he actually
Robinson,
was a
you said?
legend. Truck Robinson.
Truck?
Never in his career missed a three-point. I was joking, though. Let's see. I do like this guy, I think.
Wait, what? Who?
Peja Stojakovic.
Oh, Peja?
Pedrag?
No,
Stojakovic.
Peja. Sorry.
Peja.
Oh,
I don't know.
he's known as Peja.
Peja. So this man's, I'm pretty sure he was a 3-point deadeye.
6'10",
He's 6'10".
shooting guard.
He's a shooting guard, and
He's not actually a shooting guard, but
he
was.
could.
In 2K17, Peja Stojakovic was OP.
He hit threes from everywhere, and in this modern NBA, when you have the people voting on him, are these people in the league as we know it? We are looking at guys like Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Kevin Durant. I mean, these are Trae Young. These are some of the best 3-point shooters of all time. And then there's Trae Young, but that's not the point.
Trae Young's not one of the greatest shooters of all time?
I don't know. Like, maybe college. We'll see.
College, he actually was. But you have
But
Peja. You think he's going to make it?
yes.
Let me check Peja. He has a 12.5% chance to make it. So I've been looking at who's eligible for the Hall of Fame in 2019. And I just sorted by points per game, because sorting by points per game is probably a decent way to figure out you can figure out who the best scorers that are eligible. And one thing stood out to me, and that is Chris Webber. I mean, I know Chris Webber was a Warrior. Obviously, he played on the Kings as well. Power forward, he scored almost 21 points a game, had almost 10 rebounds, over 4 assists, 1.4 blocks, 1.4 steals, 48% from the field. I mean, that seems like a very good numbers to me, honestly. I don't see why he shouldn't make it. So I think Chris Webber should be one of those guys that has a very good shot at making it to the Hall of Fame this coming year. Aside, though, from Chris Webber, there weren't any guys that really jumped off of the page, and I was like, "Oh, that guy's definitely making it."
What about Vlade Divac?
That sort of thing. Vlade. All I know is that Vlade is the worst GM in the league. So
and the slowest person to ever live.
I mean, in terms of win shares, you have Sean Marion is the leader of guys that are eligible.
AK-47.
You've got a few guys that average 16 points, 19 points, sort of thing. But there's nobody crazy that really jumps off the page a ton. I think Peja. I like Peja's numbers there. But, I don't know. My main pick is I think Chris Webber looks like a really good candidate to make it, according to his numbers at least.
Shout out to Carlos Boozer.
Sean Marion has a 76% chance to make it, apparently, so maybe Sean Marion was a better pick. But my main pick is Chris Webber. I think Chris Webber should be in there. Although, surprisingly to me at least, ESPN doesn't give Chris Webber a great shot.
Is this guy's actual name Hot Rod?
Chris Webber has a 14% chance to make it, according to ESPN, and apparently, yes, Hot Rod Williams.
And this guy played in the Tot League.
Total. It's total. Well, his name was John Williams, okay. Hot Rod must have been in there. That does make a lot more sense. Anyways, that's going to wrap it up for the basketball section now. We are getting on to baseball.
Baseball!
And this is a topic that I think Drew's going to have a lot to say on, actually, because it is talking about his second favorite team, I believe, the Oakland Athletics, and their dual threat, dual sport athlete, Mr. Kyler Murray. Drew, what's going on with Kyler Murray? And first of all, can we tell them about how he played today?
Yes, we can.
Let's go with that first.
Let's do that.
So Kyler Murray, if you don't know, he is a quarterback for the Oklahoma Sooners, and he is also a center fielder, I believe. Right? He's a center fielder?
Yeah.
So he's a center fielder that the A's drafted. And Kyler, so yeah, he's a dual sport athlete. And today, 19 for 33 passing, 306 yards, 9.3 average, and then 3 touchdowns, just 1 interception, and a QBR of 91. So that's a good day passing the football for Kyler Murray. And then you go to his rushing. He also had 10 rushes for 69 yards and 2 more touchdowns there. So he's a dual threat quarterback running the ball. And he plays 2 different sports. So this man, Kyler Murray, is an ultimate athlete, And so the A's, they did draft him. But Drew, with this stellar football performance that he just put on today, do you still think that he will end up playing for your Oakland Athletics 5 or 6 years down the road out in center field?
No, I don't think he'll play for the Oakland Athletics 5 or 6 years down the road. I think he'll be here in 2 years.
2 years.
He's going to be part of the
okay.
championship run. This is his last
go. Whoa, those are 2 blasphemous claims. First of all, a 2-sport athlete that I don't even know if his main sport is baseball is going to be in the MLB in 2 years. You realize that the college football season, he's in the top 10 team. He's going to be in a bowl game probably. They're number 6 right now before this week. He's probably going to be in a bowl game. That means his season doesn't end until January. And then he's going to play college baseball, and then he's going to be in the minors for a year, and then come up in 2 years to play for the A's championship game. No,
he's going to play 2 years of minor leagues. He's going to play 2 years in the minor leagues before he comes up to be that final push in the team's championship run. They are missing just a few pieces. We've seen so many bright spots from the A's recently. I mean, you just look up and down their roster. Let's start with the hitters. They don't have any good catchers, I'm going to be honest. But you go to infield, they have Franklin Barreto. He is not yet in MLB, but he's 22. He has so much time, bursting in potential. They have Matt Chapman. If you know anything about the A's, you know that this guy is a legend. Then
a legend.
You have Jed Lowry, who's aging, but he can help Franklin Barreto get to his potential. Then you look down at Matt Olson. Boy hits dingers, period. Chad Pinder, who is the Kike Hernandez of the A's, except he only wears one pair of glasses. So sad. But he can play 7 of the 9 positions on the field, which is fantastic. What we need with this team is people who can play in a lot of different places, and that's what he gives you. So just the fact that you can use him in so many different ways is
okay. So the A's are a good
helpful,
team, but I just need to see why do you think Kyler Murray is gonna be only need 2 years in the minors before he comes up to the MLB then?
Well, I mean, I think that he's got the fielding down because we've seen extreme speed from him, we've seen extreme throwing, and I'm sure anybody that gets drafted top 10 is gonna at least know how to catch. And I don't think he needs to be that guy that makes a lot of diving catches because he's fast enough that he can run under it. So I think he's got the fielding down. And if I know anything about the A's, it's that they know how to make hitters better quickly. If you look at their past, they have Cespedes. Might not have been the best fielder, but he was the best hitter.
They have cannon, absolute cannon.
Donaldson. He
hit
a little out there sometimes, but he was a dinger hitter at the plate. Now you look currently, you have Matt Chapman, Matt Olson as your 2 corner infielders. They are both killing the ball. Gotta catch a body.
Mostly Chapman. Chapman's been on fire.
Well, Olson has 25. And then you look at Chris Davis. He did not start his career with the team, but when he came, he did progress him by so much.
But he did, when the year that Chris Davis, the other Chris Davis that is trash now, the year that he was good, Chris with a K actually had like the best home run rate in terms of home runs per at bat in the whole league. So he had the power. He had the power.
And then one more example for you. Let's take a look at Marcus Semien. What the problem with Marcus Semien has always been that
sucks at defense.
His fielding is atrocious. But what people haven't come to acknowledge is that he's always been an amazing hitter. And the problem is we don't get to we don't really see that as much because we're so focused on how much he needs to work on his fielding. But his hitting stats from the beginning have been more than serviceable for a shortstop.
Yeah. I just want to say what Kyler Murray did last year. He hit 296 with a 398 on-base percentage and slugged 556. So an OPS of 954. That's obviously very good. He played 51 games. So that's, say, about a third of what he would play in an MLB season, right? And so he ended up hitting 13 doubles, 56 hits, 13 doubles, 3 triples, 10 homers, 47 RBIs, 28 walks, 56 Ks, 10 steals. And 4 times he was caught stealing. So if you just triple all those numbers and say he played what would be 153 games, which is around a full season, assuming he has a couple off days or gets injured maybe a little bit, gets banged up, misses a game or two, whatever. That's a really good year. I mean, you're seeing a guy that's going to hit 30 home runs, 40 doubles. That's really good. I mean, the RBIs and runs
3 triples this year. That's 9 triples. Call him Yolmer Sanchez.
The RBIs and runs are absolutely off the charts if you triple those numbers. I mean, you're going to tell me that you're going to have a center fielder that's going to hit for 140 RBIs? Like, that's incredible. And also score almost 140 runs. Like, I mean, that's a really good year. And steal 30 bases at the same time. That's a 30-30 player.
Defensive outfields in the league. We'll have either Kyler Murray or Ramon Laureano in left. We'll have the other one in center. Then you stick Steven Piscotty, who's one of the most underrated fielders, over in right. I mean, that's a great outfield. I would trade nothing for that outfield except for Yolmer Sanchez. Or Yohan Moncada. No, not Yohan Moncada.
And
kind of buns. Yolmer's a legend. He hit an RBI double. 2
Okay,
doubles. Secure the bag.
back to this conversation. I don't think that Kyler Murray will be up in 2 years just because of the fact that I mean, he's a sophomore right now, and I feel like he's playing football now. If he wanted to commit to baseball, he could have committed already. I think he wants to see where he can go in football, obviously, since he's still playing. So, I think that he's going to play out football for at least through his junior year, because that is once you can go pro. And then I don't know if I have no idea what he's thinking in terms of playing football or playing baseball. But I mean, if you are getting drafted top 10 in baseball, it's probably the better decision for you to play baseball. Because you know what baseball players don't have that football players do have? Is
concussions.
Yeah. Concussions, exactly.
And shorter lives.
Why would you choose to play a sport that just beats you up, that does not have guaranteed contracts, and over playing baseball where it's really long careers of good money and the money is guaranteed and you're not going to get hit in the head 5 times a week really, really hard? Because you can expect that. I guess in practice, quarterbacks probably don't get hit because they're the dudes that everyone's trying to protect, and the coaches are like, you're not allowed to hit him, but still.
But
I'm not putting my body on the line to play football if I'm a top 10 baseball prospect.
Yeah, if you're a top 10 pick in baseball, that means
and in the A's organization, you know the A's can develop hitters.
The A's have a history of developing hitters. There are 50 rounds of baseball. You are a top 10 pick. That is extremely high quality. If he were to choose football, he wouldn't be nowhere close to top 10, I think, at least. And once he got to the NFL, I don't think he would be as good of a player, or nearly as good of a player as he was if he were to go to the MLB.
So, yeah, I'm thinking Kyler Murray, if he has an option, which he does, I think Kyler Murray should probably go with baseball. I think it makes sense for him to play out the rest of his college career, maybe, though, just to keep improving before he has to move on to the professional sports lifestyle. And you know the minor leagues that's going to be a grind. That's going to be a long process of being down in the minors. But I don't know. I don't know if he'll end up deciding on baseball or football. Excuse me. But
Yolmer Sanchez is a legend.
We'll see. We'll see where Kyler Murray ends up going. And so now, those are our 3 main top picks in terms of baseball, basketball, and football. So we're going to move on to the end part of our show. And for me, I'm going to start off with what I want to see. And what I want to see is the Steelers and Le'Veon Bell, they come to some sort of agreement. I don't know what they want to do. I mean, figure something out, okay? Le'Veon Bell, first of all, Le'Veon Bell left $853,000 on the table just by not playing this week. He could have made $853,000 by putting on that uniform, and he decided not to. I don't think that makes any sense. I don't think that makes... well, yeah, he wants a long-term deal, but I think that the Steelers, if they're not going to pay him, at least try and trade him to somebody else that will. The Raiders at least did that. They didn't just make him sit out the whole season. Do something. Come on now. This man is clearly
will take a one-year internship out of Le'Veon Bell.
This man is clearly a top 3 running back. He is clearly one of the best players in the whole league, and he should be on a roster right now. He's still one of the top picks in a lot of fantasy football leagues, despite the fact that it was up in the air whether he was going to play. So I just do something. They should probably pay him because he has come in and year out without them paying him, and he has kept producing. He's a dual threat running back. He catches the ball very well at the backfield. He runs the ball obviously very well. He's one of a kind. He's very patient, and I think they should just give him a long-term deal because he's proven that he is worth a big deal. And for Le'Veon, I don't blame him at all, by the way, for not going to camp or for not reporting. I do think that maybe it wasn't the right decision to pass up on almost $1 million for playing this week. But this is all in the Steelers. You can't fault a guy that plays football for wanting to get his money because in football, NFL stands for not for long because
You gotta get that
You
guaranteed money.
gotta get that back. That's how it is in football. There's no loyalty from the teams to the players. There's no reason the players should show any loyalty to the team. They need to get theirs, and then they get out, because you know that as soon as you stop producing, or if you're on the Patriots, right before you stop producing, you're gone. If you ain't good, you gone. They're just gonna throw you out. They don't care. So you have to get your money.
Shout out to Alfred Payton.
Yeah, shout out Alfred Payton. If you ain't good, you gone. So you gotta get your money. Le'Veon Bell has to get his money. So the Steelers need to give them his money, and they need to figure out, while they have the two of the biggest playmakers in the NFL, they should be winning football games. Come on now. They should be winning in the playoff. Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown are arguably the best player at each of their positions, and I would argue that they each are. I think Le'Veon Bell's the best running back in the NFL, and I think Antonio Brown's the best wide receiver. There's zero reason why they shouldn't be a top 2 team in the AFC. There's zero reason why they shouldn't be right there playing the Patriots in the AFC Championship game pretty much every year. Come on now. You got big-time playmakers. You got to make use of that.
Yeah, I mean, you know how many fantasy leagues there were where Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown went 1-2? It doesn't even matter the order, just the fact that you have the 2 most talented players, because fantasy football is just who's most likely to make a big play.
It's playmakers.
Playmakers.
Big yards, touchdowns, stuff. That's what it is.
You have the top 2 playmakers in the
Arguably.
NFL. Arguably.
Some people would say David Johnson, Zeke, and Todd Gurley, but still.
You could not beat the Jaguars. Like, I'm a Jaguars fan, and I love their defense, and I love Marquise Lee, and I don't love Blake Bortles because nobody does, but, like, the Steelers should have won that game. Like, there's no way that the Steelers should be losing to a team like the Jaguars that's never
doesn't even have a solid quarterback.
Yeah,
that's the most important position in all of professional sports, and they didn't even have a good one. Like, come on now. You gotta be better than that. Anyway.
It's the only sport where that's the player that's guaranteed to touch the ball the most.
Yeah. Well, I mean, pitcher is every play, but still.
But you have so many different pitchers. Like,
yeah, exactly. So, that's my thing. Le'Veon Bell needs to get his money. Or just figure something out. Come on now. Next, Drew, what's your thing?
My big thing is that there are so many good MLB teams that miss the playoffs by like a half a game. Like, it's so sad. Like, I feel that it's smart because it makes people care about the playoffs more. If you just say, if you miss the playoffs, but you're just outside of the playoffs, you'll still get to play in the playoffs, then it doesn't make making the playoffs mean anything. I disagree, though. I think that you can make the playoffs worth something, but still have a separate place where some of these great teams that are just missing the playoffs, because if you look at the records, there are like 5 teams in the National League that are separated by 3 games. I'm looking in the wild card.
He thinks there should be essentially an equivalent of March Madness to the NIT, where the teams that just miss it get their own tournament.
Yeah, so. I don't know how many teams it should be. Maybe small, make it 4 or 6 teams. Just have them all play each other a couple times. You could do it back down in where teams play for spring training. You could just say American League teams go to Florida, National League teams go to Arizona, go play 5 games against these 3 other teams in each of your respective leagues, and just showcase your skills one last time before the offseason. But do something, because I'm looking at the National League playoff race right now. You have the Brewers 2 games up of the wild card. You have the Cardinals in second, Dodgers a half game back, Diamondbacks a game and a half back, Phillies 3 games back, and then after that it's a fall off. So you have Pirates 7, Nationals 8, Giants 10 games back. But those top, what is that? There's 3 teams within 3 games that right now would all miss the playoffs, Plus, when you look at the real standings, you have the Braves who are only 2.5 games up on the Phillies. The Cubs are only 3.5 games up on the Brewers. And the Rockies are a half game up on the Dodgers. So the most any team is up on a second team is 3.5 games. So you just look at the volume of great teams right in this race. It's just so sad that after October 1st, we're going to have to say goodbye to so many such talented teams.
My only thing about that is, do you really think that teams, once they know that they're gone, that they're missing the playoffs, they really think that they want to play? And also, when do they play? Because you can't have them play while the actual playoffs are going on. So I don't know when that happens. It's sort of logistically, I'm not sure.
Well, I think you could have them play when the actual playoffs are going on. I mean,
but why? No one's going to watch that.
You just turn it into, well, here's the thing. I have not really thought about this because this is just a hot take here. But you turn this into spring training. It's fall training. It's spring training at the end of the year. You send all the American League teams to Florida, send all the National League teams back to Arizona. They'll play against each other. You can have them the same day as some playoff games, but just make them day games, and they'll have the playoff games night games so they don't conflict on channels. Then you still get to go, maybe not as many teams are going to get to watch them, but it's still going to be fun to see some guys going out there for the last time. You get to see Puig, Bellinger, some Kershaw go out there for the Dodgers. You get to see, Matt Carpenter make an appearance. You could see Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins,
Mike Trout,
Paul Goldschmidt, Mike Trout. You'll get to see out there. You get to see Mitch Haniger for the last time.
But I don't think that those guys want to play. After they know that they're missing the playoffs, I don't think they're going to really want to fly. Does Mike Trout really want to fly to Tampa Bay or whatever it is to go play more baseball after he's already played a full season? If you're Mike Trout, you're probably trying to rest up and get ready for the next season because it doesn't actually matter. That's the only thing I have. I don't think the players would really be into it. And so I think that it would make more sense if that was for minor league guys that are on the cusp of coming up to the majors, because I don't think stars are really going to want to waste their time with that. I mean, you saw superstars skip the Olympics, especially in basketball. Steph Curry, LeBron James, these of those guys played in the Olympics, and that is a big deal. And so I feel like if it was just a random tournament after the season's over, I don't think those guys are going to want to play, and that's the only issue I have with it.
And that could definitely be a problem, but I'd like to see some of these guys be able to make that one last appearance after the end of the season. Now, let's get into the state of our favorite game, your favorite game. We'll do it at the end of every episode we do here. So let's start with NBA teams. How does that sound? Let's do the NBA San Antonio Spurs. Did we do them last week?
I'm pretty sure we did them first week.
We did them. Yeah, I feel like we did them already.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did them.
Tell us if we're wrong. Sorry about that, but Portland. Did we do them too?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
Do you want to go first, or should I go first?
Let's do Portland. I'll take this one first. I really like Damian Lillard. He's an Oakland native, and there's so many more very talented things about him, but they're not going to be able to make it to the playoffs by trying to rely on Damian Lillard, and then CJ McCollum, who's just a bad Damian Lillard, and then a bunch of ragtag tall guys that are only there to fill roster spots. That's not going to get you anywhere. Not even not going to get you to the playoff. That's not even going to get you to the 10 seed. Maybe at best they'll get the 10 seed.
They were the 3 seed last year, though.
By 2 games.
So
they were 2 games out of being the 10 seed.
You can't say that that's not going to get you the 10 seed when they were 2 games up on the 8 seed last year. Even though they were 2 games up on the 8 seed last year, I know that, but they were the 3 seed last year. They were a playoff team, and they hosted a playoff series last year. So I don't know if you can say that roster now is not good enough to be the 10 seed.
Yeah, but every other team that they're competing with got better, except them.
That is possible. That is possible. But not every team, but a lot of teams did get better.
Yeah.
Not every team.
Almost every team.
A lot of teams, not every team, though.
Let's see. Warriors got better. They're not passing the Rockets.
Rockets got worse, though. Oh, they're not competing. Okay. Who are they actually competing with?
The
Basically, they're 3
Jazz
through, like, 9.
Didn't get any
Clippers
worse.
didn't get any better. Jazz probably got a little better just because of progression, right?
Yes.
Lakers, obviously, got way better. They're going to pass them. The Spurs, I would say, got a little better because they got DeMar. They definitely got better because they got DeMar. But the Pelicans got worse losing Rondo.
You think Rondo
The Clippers
is
didn't get
actually going to...
Rondo could put up like 25 assists in a game in the playoffs.
Yeah, but they still have Drew Holiday.
Drew Holiday didn't put up 25 assists.
So?
Rondo was the one throwing all the lobs to AD. Rondo's like half the reason that small ball lineup worked because he was making incredible passes. He was setting up AD for easy buckets all day.
They brought in like 3 or 4 legit players, though, including Julius Randle.
They ran Julius Randle for DeMarcus Cousins and Elfrid Payton for Rajon Rondo.
Yeah, DeMarcus Cousins didn't play.
They're not better.
When they got to their best, DeMarcus Cousins wasn't playing.
Yeah, but that doesn't make them better.
So you're trading Elfrid Payton and Julius Randle for...
Elfrid Payton got traded away from the Magic at the trade deadline. The Magic. Julius Randle's good. But, I mean, if it didn't work last time and they had 2 bigs as their 2 main scorers, why would it work better this time?
It did work last time.
You just said they weren't at their best with DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, and they were at their best
without DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah, with no Nikola Mirotic.
And so
he was still their second scorer. So they still had 2 bigs as their 2 main scorers.
He's not a big. He's a small forward.
Like, now you have 3 good scorers then. Like, I don't see how they're gonna go backwards by acquiring one really solid player.
Julius Randle had a really good year last year. He's a good player, but I think losing Rajon Rondo makes it a lot harder for them to run in the fast break the way they were. And the reason Anthony Davis stepped up so much is because they were playing fast. Anthony Davis was catching lobs left and right, and he was going off. And a lot of those lobs were from Rondo, and Rondo was really the primary ball handler in that offense. It wasn't Drew Holiday, it was Rondo. So I think that losing Rondo in exchange for Elfrid Payton, I mean, Drew Holiday's a very good player. He can score. He's a good point guard. He's a good guard, I guess. I don't know, point guard, shooting guard, whatever he wants to play. He's good. But I just don't think that losing Rondo, they're going to actually improve off that team. I think they go down because they're not going to be able to run in the fast break as efficiently or as well as they were with Rondo.
Whoa. Well, this news came in 11 minutes ago. We'll have to get to our next topic because...
Well, with that being said, I'm going to say that I also think that the Blazers suck, actually. Because... the Blazers' position sucks as a franchise because they're not going to be able to compete with any of the good teams in the West in terms of the 3 teams that are really competing, especially the Lakers once they actually get another superstar to play with LeBron. So I don't think the Blazers have any sort of shot to compete because they're not going to be able to compete with the Warriors, they're not going to be able to compete with the Rockets, and they're not going to be able to compete with the Lakers. So that means they have to build for the future, but they have 2 guys that are really in their primes right now that are, once those 3 teams fall off, which is going to be 5 or 6 years down the road probably, once all those teams are out of the picture, then the Blazers are also going to be out of the picture because CJ and Dame are going to be older. They're the same. CJ and Dame aren't that much younger than the current superstars right now, so I think there's no window for them to compete, and so they're not going to have any shot. And also, history shows that you need a guy in the front court and back court that's an all-star in order to win in the NBA, and they don't have that. They have 2 backcourt players that do very similar things, and so I see no scenario in which that actually works out for them. So what's the next one we're doing?
We are going to do baseball now. We got the Royals. Oh, that's sad. Oh, isn't that sad? We have to talk about the Royals. Very sad. So, the Royals. You go first on this one.
You just said, isn't that sad when you mentioned the Royals? Yes, that is sad. The Royals are sad. They're horrible now. They used to be good. They were good for 2 years. They made the World Series twice in a row. They won the World Series. They beat the Mets in the World Series in, I believe that was 2015. Or Yeah, they beat the Mets in 2015. 2016 was the Indians Cubs one. So yeah, the Royals won a World Series just a few years ago, back when they had that incredible bullpen. I mean, honestly, they like every single good player from those teams, besides I think Alex Gordon, who's not good anymore, is gone. Right? I mean, you lost Lorenzo Cain, Mike Moustakas is now gone.
Hosmer.
Hosmer is gone. All those pitchers that they had at the end of their pen are gone. Yeah, Kevin Herrera is gone. Wade Davis, like they're all gone. They're the whole team that was good is not there anymore. And
Alcides Escobar is still there.
Is trash. Alcides Escobar was only good. He was only an all-star that one year because the rest of his team was good, so people like voted for him.
Yeah, it's the same thing the Cubs did a couple years ago.
Yeah, exactly. When they didn't have a whole infield.
Yeah, they got
the
Addison Russell into the All-Star game just by the rest of their infield being good.
So yeah, no, the Royals suck. They have to go full Houston Astros and rebuild. Let's be honest. Anything different on that for you, Drew?
No.
Full Astros rebuild for the Royals. Are we agreeing on that one?
Yes, we are, because...
All right. Next.
Colts, yay! No, not yet.
Speaking of trash, the Colts, they actually are not in the worst position just because they have, as we mentioned earlier, the most important position in sports filled in Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is, when healthy, he's a easily top 10 NFL quarterback. Possibly a top 5 NFL quarterback, but honestly, I don't really remember because it's been just a little while. I would say.
It's been a while
since he's been healthy,
and he's 28 now. He's now a young boy.
He's now basically prime of his career. So hopefully, obviously, because you always hope that people can come back from injuries, hopefully he's able to come back and play like Andrew Luck back in 2016 when he went for 31 touchdowns. I mean, that's top of the league type talent, and he's playing for the Colts, so. That's even better because it's the Colts. He has T.Y. Hilton as a weapon, so that's good. But aside from that, the Colts kind of suck, I'm not going to lie. But in football is a sport where you can make very quick rebuilds. 2 years, you can really restock. If you make one trade, maybe get a couple picks. Like the Bears, actually, they have a bunch of... Or no, the Bears lost their picks, actually. The Raiders now have a bunch of picks, so... I mean, I still don't agree with the trade just because they traded away the second.
Maybe they'll draft... Kyler Murray. Who knows? I'm just saying.
In replacement of Derek Carr. But
just saying.
You know, I think that they're not in the only reason the Colts aren't in a horrible position is because Andrew Luck, when healthy, is very good. Otherwise, they're literally like the worst team in the league, one of the worst teams in the league. I guess the Browns are still around, so they're literally one of the worst teams in the league, and with nothing besides Andrew Luck. And I guess T.Y. Hilton's a good player, but T.Y. Hilton's not going to make a difference if the rest of the team sucks. So they have Luck and they have Hilton, but the rest of their team sucks. So they're in they're not in good position, but they're not in the worst just because they have a quarterback. That's my take on it. Anything else, Drew?
Well, I slightly disagree with the thing about T.Y. Hilton because we saw him be a sufficient receiver. Obviously, not.
Well, he's a good player. I'm just saying
the difference between winning and losing or anything, but he was like. Kind of, I guess you could say legit.
No, I'm just saying that he can't do anything because the rest of the team's so bad. So he's very good, but he's a very good receiver. He just can't. There's nothing he can do. There's only so much that you can do as a receiver, and you can't really control the game that much. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree there. Then, yeah.
Yeah, he can't make the defense not suck. He can't make the offensive line not suck. He can't make the running game not suck. That's literally every other part of the team besides him and Andrew Luck. So.
That's true.
That's all I'm saying.
Let's wrap this tingy up. Then.
Yeah, that was a good show. We're working on making them shorter. This one was a bit shorter than the last one, but thank you to everybody who tuned in and listened this week. We'll be back next week for yet another show. Please tune in once again next week, and thank you very much. Peace.